What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. My name is Gio Garcia. Today's Monday, July 5th. Oh, no, Tuesday, July 5th.
Come on, man.
And look, hey, that 4th of July on a Monday is throwing me off. Damien's already heckled me. As you can see here, he got his audio working this time, so he can heckle me as much as he wants. But yeah, big game after the Galaxy won 4-0 against Montreal. Impressive win, insane win. I don't think anybody thought this was going to happen, but a good win for the Galaxy leading up to El Trafico. Obviously, Damien, I got you back again to talk Galaxy. How was your weekend? I know you were at the game for the 4th of July. How'd you spend this 3-day weekend?
3-day weekend, man. I had one day, Sunday.
Oh, my bad.
My only day off. Yeah, it was, when you cover the Galaxy, you got to circle July 4th as a game you're going to be working. So, got there, good game. Had a pretty good view of the neighborhood fireworks around the stadium. And, ready to talk about what's up next for these guys.
Yeah, that's the thing about 4th of July, man. Like you were just mentioning pre-chat that fireworks in LA and Southern California, they're nonstop. Before the 4th of July, even after the 4th of July, it's just like people got I feel like they got an unlimited supply of fireworks.
Pretty much. It's been pretty much year round in my neighborhood, and I've heard some today. You might hear some for the rest of the month, and it's like, man, just give it a rest already. I'm tired of them.
The thing is, too, I remember, it's like some of them they just do it. I get it, like 4th of July, I expect fireworks, but I feel like sometimes I'll hear it a couple days afterwards. Like I remember last year, like just hearing them like at 12 at night and just at midnight, and I'm like, what do you guys? You guys are doing this on purpose, but. Look, if I was a youngster, I had fireworks, I'd probably be doing the same thing. But I don't know if you saw the like it's kind of like a meme. The guy he's on the wheelchair and he's like, Larry, get out the way, Larry. I don't know if you've seen that on social media.
Yeah, I've seen that,
yeah. I keep seeing that just like all over social media. And every time someone mentions fireworks, it just reminds me of that clip for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously you were at the game yesterday. Let's talk about the game because I don't think anybody expected a 4-0 win for the LA Galaxy because of the way they've been playing previously. But this sets them up pretty good for this upcoming game.
Yeah, I guess 4-0 was kind of shocking. We haven't seen them. Well, we saw I think 4 against Austin before the international break, I believe. But yeah, Greg said the day. So they played on Monday. So Sunday, he said they had one of the toughest day before training sessions that he's had since he's been there. So I guess it was a matter of getting guys focused, getting them on track. And, they needed a good performance because Montreal is not a pushover. They came in top of the East, but the Galaxy got ahead early, got ahead 2-0 at halftime, and then second half really opened the game up and put the game away.
Yeah, I mean, 4-0 they completely just punished Montreal, and you're right. Montreal's also sitting at the top of the upper top of the table on the East there, and this performance goes pretty good. And I think the big thing for me, which what I was looking forward to, is to see finally Chicharito and Joveljic start up top. I felt I think as probably as any other LA Galaxy fan that's been watching the game and that they have been pushing for this, expected Joveljic and Chicharito to play pretty well. It was a 4-4-2 formation. I thought Greg Vanny might have done a 3-5-2. But what did you think of that pairing?
I thought it was okay. I mean, I know Greg in a second. Greg said that after the game, he's like, some of the things they lacked were on the defensive end, and with that formation. In the second half, he went to a 4-2-3-1 with Ravelson up top toward the end of the game there, which was kind of shocking. But yeah, Chicharito and Joveljic on the field together. They both scored in the first half. So the scoring part is never the problem. It's always the other side of the ball. The running, the checking back, the marking back, and all that. So it'd be interesting to see what does he do Friday. Does he insert Cabral back into the lineup, or does he stick with what worked against Montreal?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. One thing that's kind of just stood out for me is we had a lot of the times, a few times, you had Joveljic, who would pull, who'd go for the ball, bring down, and it would open up space for Chicharito to make the run over either the run directly towards the goal or towards outside the wing. And I feel like we're so used to sometimes relieve Chicharito coming back and relieving that pressure, but now he had Joveljic to relieve that pressure, and they also opened up a little bit more of the game for Chicharito in different ways. And I just felt in that first half, the Galaxy were more creative in different ways because of those two strikers. Now, granted, maybe because of the opponent, things may change, but it's something we haven't seen this year so far until now. Joveljic and Chicharito. Obviously, I know you mentioned what Greg Vanney mentioned on the defensive end, a lot of those different things, but up top, those first 45 minutes of Chicharito and Joveljic, I thought were fantastic. I think you could just add a couple more of those pieces, but to me, it's like there has to be, or I could see that moving forward. I don't know. Obviously, you get Cabral. We'll talk about Douglas Costa potentially not being available, but I think to me, having them up top opens up the game in a different way, opposed to bringing Joveljic in the second half, because then you can bring in Vasquez or wherever we saw. I just feel like the offense just opens up a little bit more having Joveljic and Chicharito start.
Yeah, headed into last night's game, Joveljic's numbers are better when he comes off the bench. So that's one thing the Galaxy has to look at. And then last night, there were certain moments where I thought Joveljic and Chicharito were in the same area, like a little too close together on some of those final attacks. There were two chances where Granzir was on the left, and he was trying to get the ball far post to Javier, but Joveljic was in the center, like, hey, I'm here. And he missed him two times there. So, I mean, I think it's still work in progress. Greg said that, with the international window, the players he's looking to bring in, one of them will be a little bit more flexible on the offensive end. So maybe that leads him to shift back to this formation. But, so you still have Cabral there. So maybe Cabral does that running. He gets behind the lines. It's good. I mean, I guess it's a good problem to have when you're trying to, have an attack that's diversified as we go through the final months of the season here.
Yeah, no, I just think what does Jovic have 6 goals? Chicharito has
They're
7.
both on 7 now, I think.
7, okay.
I think so.
I'm not counting the USL, well, whatever it is. To me, that anytime you get 6 goals, off someone who's been playing off the bench, I think to me that I would just point that to a starter. That to me is a starter, and because goals are so hard to come by. I don't know. Jovic sees himself as a starter. I know Cabral. But to me, Cabral, I don't like to compare them because they play different. But I have Joveljic higher than Cabral just because of the production, the goals, and what you did. And I'm with you on Grand Sur. I think the more they play, the more they're going to understand that having the two forwards up top, if that's what Greg Vanney decides to go, because there was a couple of times, Joveljic was wide open in the middle, but I don't, Grand Sur wasn't looking for him. And he could probably had 2 goals in the first half. Who knows? But yeah, I like you said, it's a good problem to have for Greg Vanney to identify that, because there's just so many things to me. I think it opens up the offense a little more with just having one striker at times. And I feel like they needed this because of how they were trending. Now, hope maybe going into El Trafico we could see two strikers, or we'll have to see. Now that you get Kevin Cabral and potentially Douglas Costa. Anything else that you liked or you didn't like about this game?
I guess we can start with Ravelson putting in 2 goals, which was pretty impressive. 2 great he was set up by Julian Araujo on the first one. Nice cross from the right wing. And I forgot who set up on the second one, but he showed a pretty good knack for getting in front of goal and putting the ball away. One thing I did like was the play of Daniel Aguirre. Second game in a row, he's come off. He came off the bench this time around. And Greg joked that he was probably mad he didn't start this game, but he's put in a couple good shifts here lately, and maybe that's another factor, that piece that can factor into the midfield puzzle here as we go on the rest of the season here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Daniel Aguirre as well. And was he a G2 player as well? Correct me. Was he a G2 player or?
I think he was signed last year. I think he spent some time at G2, but he had a pretty good preseason camp last year. And he may have made a couple appearances last year, but he's been mostly on the bench for the first team this year.
Because I know he got some playing time last year, but then
Yep.
obviously things ended up changing. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Daniel Gary. I'm a big fan of Ryan playing up top. We got to see a little bit. I know the broadcast. I was watching the game from home, but I saw that the broadcast was talking about him that Ryan wanted to play up top more, a little bit more offensively. He gets 2 goals. He definitely looked a lot. He looked a lot different. We've seen Ryan score goals last season, but I feel like this season he's had a little bit of a slow start, and obviously maybe these 2 goals yesterday maybe could get him going for what's to come because it's a pretty tough schedule coming up this month of July. You just had this game, Tropico's Friday. You have more games coming up, and it's going to get pretty quick. So, yeah, I like Ryan's up top play, but also like one of his goals that he got assisted with, and there was that heel pass by Sasha
Oh,
Kljestan.
that's awesome. That was the assist of the year. That's unbelievable. That
Well,
was.
I'm with you on that. Let's go ahead and play it.
Surprised that he's going to go the rest of the way. Here comes Edwards now for the Galaxy. Can they get one more? Sasha Kljestan, near side. Araujo back to Sasha. Heels it in. Ravelis in for 2. Score! Ryan Ravelis in his second goal on the night. 4-0 Galaxy. Julian Araujo, another assist there for him.
Yeah, I mean that play, the way they moved the ball around. Obviously, the game already had been won, but I think this is what you want to see from the Galaxy when they're struggling. That you just want to completely punish a team, and not only that, but just the ball movement, the touching. Araujo had gotten an assist, I think, previously to that, and obviously, Sasha Kljestan got cheeky there with the pass. This is something that we've seen from time to time from the Galaxy. Obviously, we haven't been able to see it consistent, but I think if they're able to move the ball around like that, it opens up so many doors for them offensively.
Yeah. And one of those things where you always get either Edwards or Julian factored into the attack there. But yeah, in the final third, they were very they seem to have a plan. And sometimes they get in the final third against a team that's sort of sit back against them, and it's sort of tough to get that final pass in. But Montreal came out and didn't really sit back. So we see the Galaxy against a team that likes to sit back. We see them struggle. But as Montreal came in, they tried to play, get up and down, and that opened the game up. And this team can really take advantage when games happen, when games transpire that way.
Yeah, and especially I think that who started that play, whoever had the ball in that clip was Raheem Edwards. When we see what Raheem Edwards can do, it's good to see both Raheem Edwards and Joan Araujo were able to touch the ball in that same play because they were up top all the way up there. And when you have that opportunity, when you have Raheem up on top, Joan Araujo up top, you get cheeky with the passes and stuff like that. You see some of the technical finishes the technical passes, the cheeky assists from Sasha, and you assume that's something that you would like to see outside of Sasha's Kljestan's pass. That's something that you want to see day in and day out from the LA Galaxy when you're watching them. I feel like this season has been so many up and down waves, and obviously they've shown it capable against a good opponent. I think if anybody sees this Galaxy team, they want that to continue.
Yeah, there's a stat out there that the Galaxy is. Let me kill some time while I try and find it here. They're actually 6-0 across all comps against top 6 teams in the Supporters Shield. So the tougher the opponent, I mean, these guys really they really come out and put it on them. But against the bottom part of the league, they sort of struggle a little bit. But
why is that, Damien? Why is
that's something Greg's trying to figure out, I guess, man. It's like, I mean, he's always talked about how they start home games. He wasn't pleased with how they started some home games before. But this time you come out, you get the first goal inside the first 10 minutes. Then you get the PK at halftime. So you're up 2-0 going to halftime. You got to feel good. And you get the third goal. So up 3-0, you're thinking, okay, we got this wrapped up. But they still push for that final goal. And we'll see if they can, keep it going. I mean, it's tough to get on a winning streak in this league, but I mean, they can do it.
Yeah, look, you just brought up a great stat. I mean, they typically play up to the opponent, and when it comes to LAFC, you don't need to say anything else. They've shown it time and time again. It doesn't matter what form they're into or whatever. They will continue. They will play up to the opponents, but I think they will, because there's gonna be times you're not gonna play these top 6 or whatever teams. They're just not. There's gonna be a time that you're not, and you don't want to be losing games.
They play San Jose, so it's like
yeah, they play San Jose after LAFC, so it's like, I think you want to have a consistent flow of consistent games, because look, it's a long season, but losing games the way they've lost recently, I think it's so tough to tell who is this Galaxy teams at times, because yesterday, 4-0, no one thought that in the wildest dream that they were going to win 4-0. You can think they're going to get the win, but 4-0. So sometimes it's just so wide of the spectrum. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens for this month of July for the Galaxy, and obviously they're going to have some reinforcements. So I think it's a big month for the Galaxy, a big month for all the players. Chicharito, Jovic, see what Jovic could potentially do. Ryan, if he gets up more of a cam, a roll up there, we saw, even Efrain Alvarez, he had a couple good looks in the first half. So we'll have to see. Before we move on, I want to give a shout out to Lex in the chat, Tony in the chat. Those guys have been commenting. But yeah, let's talk about the red card. Obviously, Kevin Cabral got a red card, which should have been a red card. We jumped over the goalkeeper. And then also another player was Douglas Costa. He got a red card, and he may not be available for the LAFC game. Damien, tell us why.
Yeah, from what we know, and even from what Greg said the other day, they're expecting another game to be added onto that suspension for Cabral. No, I mean for Douglas Costa. The league hasn't announced it yet, because he was already out for this game. So now I think the new week starts Friday's game. There's the start of a new week, so you should get a new disco report shortly from the league. And they're expecting another game added onto that for that elbow at the end of the Minnesota game. It's a shame, because as Greg said, that even though it was a short stretch against Minnesota, as far as he had come back, he was liking what he was putting in for that game. But then you go to the elbow, and Greg said that situation like that, he needs to be more mature in a spot like that, because you're not only are you hurting, you're letting yourself down, you're letting your team down, you're letting the staff down that actually work with you to get you back into playing shape. So yeah, he's probably down for Friday, and probably won't be back until San Jose, I believe, next Wednesday.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, for Douglas Costa, because he's definitely obviously a DP that they went out and got, and unfortunately, he does this knucklehead elbow to the player. I mean, that's clearly a red card. It was towards the end of the game, and you expect your DP, especially who has world-class type of talent, to be a little bit more level-headed when it comes to that, especially knowing what's at stake and potential games. You've been out because of these injuries. Now you're going to be out because of what you did on the field, and I think it's like, I don't know. Sometimes recently the DPs for the Galaxy, have also been in an up and down trajectory. And this doesn't help Douglas Costa in any chance get in rhythm. Because that's what you want, a player like this, get in rhythm, be able to play. But we'll have to see, because if he is out for El Trafico, because that's now the third biggest game of the year so far. LAFC have the big signings, and you wanted to have all your biggest players there available. So we'll have to see what happens And unfortunately, for Kevin Cabral, I looked at that play. It wasn't a red card. I don't know. I think he hit him, but I don't think it was intentional. I don't know what the ref saw, but I just feel like the reffing could be better on that play specific. Douglas Costa, yeah, if he gets two game suspensions, look, that's on him. But I feel like on the Kevin Cabral situation, there needs to be a way where I don't know why the ref didn't go look at it at VAR. I don't recall, but that's just a bad refereeing call. And look, ref make mistakes, but you can hand the yellow the first card and then come back and switch the play. But once you hand the red, you can't go back on that.
I guess there was like some sort of mandate sent down from the league at the beginning of the year for refs to keep an eye on situations like that. But still, there was no intent there. I don't think it was a lot of contact there. You got to have the discretion to say, okay, he hit him. The league is telling me that should be a red card. But let me go take a look and see if was it really violent, and maybe it just needs to be a yellow or warning or whatever. But I don't know. I just thought the red card was harsh for that. But if the league is saying, hey, you got to do it, then I guess, technically he had to do it, I guess. But tough situation there.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. What's up, Ed? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It's just tough when you get some of those calls that happen and unfortunately go that way, or don't go your way. But look, if that's what they got to do, I just would expect something better, because I think also intention should count. Intent should count. At least when it comes to red card, intent should be counted. Let's talk about LAFC El Trafico matchup, because it's a big game.
It is.
I will. Yeah.
You tell me it's a big game. I don't know. All right, you say so.
just want to make sure, but for most of the people here in LA, most of the people that watch or listen to the show, I'm excited. I always get excited for these games. Big rivalry, lots going on. We know right now the Galaxy have won 2 out of 3 games. It could potentially go 3 for 3, which to me would be insane if he went 3 for 3 in the year. I don't know if I see that happening, but look, the only thing is this game won't be played at Dignity Health Sports Park, which has been a fortress for the Galaxy. They go, quote unquote, on the road to the Bank of California Stadium. Obviously, after the win, this is a big win, good momentum. But how do you think the Galaxy will match up this Friday?
They've had some okay performances at the Bank of California Stadium. I think a big concern might be, matching up across the back line. I know it started out with who started last night? I think Derek and Sega started at center back, and I think Sega was subbed off late, I believe. It's going to just come down to, it's always these games like, who wants it more, really? We've seen games where in this series you think, okay, LAFC is the better team. They're top of the league. They're supporter shields and everything. And the Galaxy's in the middle of the pack or whatever. But there's always 2 or 3 turning points where, the Galaxy seem to come out on top. And I don't know if it's in LAFC's head now. I know it's a big game for everybody over there. But it's also a big game for the Galaxy. We know what Raheem Edwards said last time. It's just going to just let it play out. These games have never. I always say they've never had a scoreless draw. So maybe these days it might happen, but it might not happen this time.
David, don't bring that negative energy.
It has to happen.
I know, but I want goals.
But I think you're looking at everything. You're going to get one thing. We never had a scoreless draw, so you're going to get goals. It's just a matter of
I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna blame you for that. I think that's one thing I never thought of, like, for it to happen. I was like, I'd draw, but like a scoreless draw would.
Yeah, never had one of those boring scoreless draws in the series, which is like, man, that's amazing. But yeah, it's going to be a battle. Everybody knows. Both teams wants to win it. It's not a matter of they want it more, we want it more. I think both teams really want it. The Galaxy's already won 2 this season. If they win a 3rd, this might not be a rivalry anymore.
You think so?
If they sweep them, man, oh my goodness.
if they, I don't. Hey, that'd be if you beat your arch nemesis 3 times. Whew, man, that would be a big statement. That would be such a big statement if the Galaxy are able to
and it also goes into how the Galaxy plays against teams above them in the standings. I mean, this is not a team that's going to be, scared to walk into an opposing stadium. So I mean, they're going to be chanting at them and everything, but this team doesn't really. They've always showed up in a big moment. It seems to be they always have a big response for a moment.
Yeah.
And this might be another one of those games where they just come out with a big performance again. So it wouldn't surprise me if they win. I mean, they lose 2-0. That might be a surprise, but if they win, it wouldn't really surprise me at all.
Yeah, look, I think anything like that. Look, people in the chat are saying, "God help us, that doesn't happen. Scoreless equals boring."
I like that. Yeah, you never know.
Hey, people are paying a lot of money, Damien. I think the cheapest ticket it's like $200. I saw it on Twitter or something like that. Like cheapest ticket is $200. So
is that for parking or a game?
The parking's probably like another $100. I don't know what it is. And look, especially with all the stars, they're going to be there. Like,
are they there? I mean, has Bale arrived yet?
Bale, to my knowledge, he has not arrived, but he's going to be available. I mean, if he's available, I think you give him 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. If he hasn't arrived, yet by tomorrow, I don't think he plays because I don't think with a player with he almost has the same nagging injury history as Douglas Costa has. Really, those nagging little leg and hamstring injuries. If he's not in by now, I don't think he plays.
Yeah,
Chiellini's already in. He's training, so maybe he gets a run.
Yeah, I can see Chiellini. I mean, definitely playing, maybe potentially starting. I don't know. He's been training. Bale, on the other hand, who knows when he comes into town. But yeah, you got to figure. Chiellini is going to get some minutes. Chiellini versus Chicharito matchup. Chiellini versus Jovic matchup. That's going to be good.
Chiellini versus Kevin Cabral matchup.
Kevin Cabral too, as well. Well, yeah, we'll definitely have to see everything that that's on the table for the Galaxy because it's gonna be a big game. But
yeah, and
LAFC. Go ahead.
LAFC sat some of their guys too against Vancouver. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Carlos Vela didn't play, and
Carlos Vela, Brian Rodriguez. I think that was all because of injury or quote unquote injury. So yeah, it's a big game. I think to me the bigger thing it's a more of a must win for LAFC than obviously the LA Galaxy, regardless, because you got Galaxy have already won. But I think there's more pressure on LAFC to win this game because they haven't won one. It's a Galaxy, for what it sakes, they lose or get a tie. If you get a tie, it's not that bad, but obviously you don't want to lose. But yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure, especially with all the expectations, everything that's been happening, all these different signings and everything like that. But yeah. If we and to me, it's like if we look quickly at the standings, you can even if the Galaxy say they win, they're currently in 1/4. They can jump up one more spot to third with 30 points. Even if you get a point, I mean, you see how FC Dallas and Nashville are all tied for 27, and they get the Sounders for 26. So the West is very, very thin. So any point, anything helps one way or another. Any LAFC up top, they're getting chased down by Austin FC for the supporter shield right up there. So it's a tight race all around. So one game could definitely change a lot of things, and it's in every week. It seems like for MLS standings. So I think that's another thing to consider because as much as this is the rivalry, come down the season, we saw how both of these teams didn't make the playoffs because of games earlier or previously to the season. So there's just so much. But let me get your thoughts on what are your thoughts on obviously LAFC being able to land Bale and Chiellini and both being on a TAM deal.
Yeah, you get them on TAM deals. Those are good moves. For me personally, I wouldn't. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I mean, 37-year-old defender. I'm not going to make that move if I'm, Major League Soccer GM or president. But I mean, he brings over experience, and we know Gareth Bale is top class when he's on the field, when he's playing. And get him on Cam deal. That's tip of the cap. But this league is so tough, man. It's like even what everybody's saying, hey, these moves have made LAFC the favorite, which is true. But being the favorite doesn't always actually mean you're going to win the cup. I mean, winning Supporters Shield doesn't mean you're going to win MLS Cup. Mm-hmm. There's so many different things that goes through a season, especially in the playoffs, down the stretch in the playoffs, that sort of affects everything. I say, yeah, they're the favorites to win, but getting there is going to be just tough with holding off everybody in the West. I mean, I think the West has 7 or 8 teams within 4 or 5 points from each other.
Yeah.
Now, if they get Brian Rodriguez going, then okay, that makes him a dangerous team. But I don't think we've really seen him sort of dominate a game since he's been here. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, look, it's tough. There's so many things, and I think on the other hand, they have so many options, and it's about potentially who to start, But yeah, I'm very interested to see how these signings, these additions, and everything, change the MLS and continues the growth. Because there was also like a random report out there that Marcelo from Real Madrid got denied by 7 teams, 7 MLS teams. I think he was probably asking for way too much money or something like that. So.
Go to Miami. Go to Miami.
And I think it's hard if you want to spend a DP on the left back. That typically is not the.
Especially an old defender like that. Nah, you can't do that. You got to defend it.
They say the people in the chat, they said the prices are high because we know we're getting our money's worth. I hope that's the thing. Hope that's the thing. Chris says Chiellini gets in 15 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, I could probably see that 15, 20 minutes, whatever.
Yeah. Logan says they Logan. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, they said Chiellini is for a rude awakening and then cakewalk over here. That, I mean, I'm very interested to see just Chiellini go up against the Galaxy, also go up when that game on SoFi, the game that's on SoFi against Chivas and Club America. I'm very interested to see, even Douglas Costa if he's able to, if he's available for that game, because that's going to be. It's always interesting when you have all these stars come into the league, but then they also play you get this. What's it called? You get the Liga MX players and all that to play. I always find that very interesting. When you just get these different matchups that you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, that's what is that? August 3rd or whatever. So I got a month away from that. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. That could be a crazy atmosphere with Galaxy, LAFC fans, Chivas, and America fans. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah, no. Let's finish off with this. Give me your score predictions for the weekend. I mean, for Friday, because it's Friday the weekend.
Okay, since nobody wants to hear my 0-0 score line.
No 0-0.
Last time they were there is what? It was 3-3, I believe.
Yeah, it was 3-3. That game was insane.
Yeah, that was insane. So let's go with another insane 3-3 draw, whatever. Something crazy. Maybe 4-3 or something wild, man. We saw Orlando and DC have a 5-3 game the other day. That'd be crazy. So let's go 2-2 or 3-3, something like that. Everybody gets their goals.
You gotta have goals in this game. You gotta have them.
Hey, if it ever happens, don't blame me.
If it happens this Friday, you better go. To the lottery, you better put some money on the lottery this weekend, Damien. I don't typically do that, but hey, when you call something out days away, I mean, you could definitely test your luck there. We have people saying 2-2 all PKs. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
That'd be crazy. I have 2 PKs, 4 VAR reviews. Oh my goodness, that'd drive me crazy.
That would be insane. See, they're saying we're coming for you if that happens. definitely, you can find him on Twitter at Damian Calhoun, and that's where you can put your complaints in. Well, Damian, I appreciate you being on. Any last words before we let you go?
I'll be at the bank Friday. I'll be at the bank Saturday for Angel City. I'll just be at the bank all weekend.
Hey, you may be cashing in the checks if you win. Too. So that's the LA Galaxy segment, guys. Thank you, Damian, for hopping on. Give me about a minute, guys, here, and we'll switch things over.
All right.
All right, we are back now. Switch things over, talking LAFC. Man, it was a tough weekend for the LAFC. They went over. They flew across to Canada, to play Vancouver. Unfortunately, they came back with a 1-0 loss, losing in the final minutes. But look, sometimes it happens. They didn't have all the full reinforcements. No Carlos Vela, no Brian Rodriguez. You still got a couple different injuries. 1-0 loss is definitely not going to kill LAFC. But look, you got a big game coming up here in a couple of days against the arch nemesis, LA Galaxy, who they've yet to beat this year. But here to help me break everything down and talk LAFC, we got Josue Lopez. Josue, how you doing? You there, Josue? Oh, well, I think Josue might have froze.
It's always a pleasure to be, and breaking. Huh?
Oh, there you go. I think we.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think we're just having some technical difficulties. I think you mute yourself here. I think you gotta mute yourself. Give me a second. Well, while Josue gets things going, there you go.
Can you hear me?
I think you've unmuted yourself. There.
Okay. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, we're all good now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Nice. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. It will be an interesting evening covering this game. I've experienced this rivalry as an employee and now covering LAFC, and it will be interesting. Yeah. Look, like you mentioned, tough loss against Vancouver. It happens. It's part of a season, a lot of substitutions, but looking forward for this weekend's game against LA Galaxy. It's going to be the 16th time these teams face each other. LAFC has never they have beat the Galaxy at the bank. Not technically, but this game will be at the bank. So let's see if this is a 3-0 for the Galaxy or if LAFC is able to come back with a victory. So looking forward to this weekend's game.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned something very important there. Yeah, I mean, the LAFC, I feel like they have to get this win. You haven't been able to beat them just yet this season. Obviously, with the biggest signings and everything like that, I mean, they're definitely favored to win the MLS Cup. But yeah, I feel like you gotta get this win one way or another because it's the Galaxy, And obviously, you made a splash with Chiellini and now Gareth Bale. We'll definitely talk about it later. But how are you feeling? Do you feel like it's a must-win for the Galaxy? I mean, for LAFC?
It is a must-win for both because it is a derby. I think it's a must-win a little bit more on Galaxy because LAFC is in a good position at the Western Conference and for the Supporter Shields race. So I think it's more urgency to win from LA Galaxy in that regard. They have a great victory and a great performance that you were discussing earlier against Montreal. So I think it's a must win a little bit for them. But in the sense of expectations and the big signings and all the initiative that is in LAFC, in that regard, yes, it is a must win for the LAFC because of all the attention they have been given for the big signings that they have had the last 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, look, we see we see Chiellini in practice. We see the clips of him there. I think the social team at LAFC is posting about him. I mean, I think a lot of people can't believe, obviously, him and Bale are joining within the same transfer window. But what are your thoughts when you see Chiellini in practice with the LAFC players, and obviously you can see them, he's coaching them up and stuff, and you can see his experience. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts that go through your head?
It's something that I was expecting to see. Like I'm very surprised by the humbleness that Chiellini has toward his arrival to LAFC. During the press conference presentation, he said that he recognized that he was not on the best moment and that he was also going to learn from players. He mentioned Mamadou Fall, he mentioned Jesus Murillo, Palacios. Like, he knows these guys, and it is very impressive the fact that Giorgio has been watching LAFC since the beginning of the season, so he's really aware of his team and the league in general. So it's really impressive. Maybe age-wise, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to have his best version, something that he recognized. But like defensively, it's gonna be an improvement for sure.
Yeah, look, you just mentioned something too that stood out to me when Chiellini also said that he had been watching LAFC, and then just quickly right after that, some time, then LAFC reached out to him, and to me, it just shows the growth of the growth of MLS, growth of LAFC, to be able to attract the player like Chiellini, and for him to watch games even before there was any interest of LAFC is just it's just mind-boggling, because there's so much growth that has happened within the league, and now you finally land Chiellini. And I think he also said that he was surprised that LAFC wanted him because they were at the top of the table. And you mentioned about his humbleness, and all I've known about Chiellini, he's a tough player and all these different things, and then he just comes off so humble in his press conferences and his initial, meetings and stuff with the media. I was just blown away by everything he said about him watching LAFC and him just coming in and being himself.
Man, when I get his age, I want to be like him when he grows up. When I grow up, for real, like the suit and tie and everything. Like Italian players have this, like, how can I call this? This personality, this style, this presence. But in Chiellini's case, is accompanied with a very, very humble heart toward his players. Like, I was like, for example, I was listening to Hector Herrera's press conference from Houston saying that, I come from on my best moment of my career. With all the respect, I'm gonna bring some spice for the rivalry. When Chicharito came, he said, I'm a living legend. Like, these guys are not the level of Chiellini. And on the other hand, you have Giorgio, who comes and says, I want to learn from my teammates, and I recognize that I don't come on my best moment. Like, these players have everything. It's unbelievable, and you realize why they are in the level they are, not only for what they do on the field, but what they behave out of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's world class player. I don't think there's much more to say than that, because to me, it's just saying Chiellini, the way he comes and his approach to the game, and just seeing how he is. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if he starts on Friday, or he gets a lot of minutes, because of just how engaged he is. How he's we're seeing these clips of him in practice. He looks to be, I would assume so, in some type of game shape. I don't know if he could go full 90 minutes. I don't know when was his last game. I don't know if that was against. Was it against Messi in Argentina? Was that his last game, quote unquote? His last official games. Yeah. So that made him it's close to maybe a month or so ago. So he looks to be in shape. He looks to He was definitely looking fly in that suit and everything. That and it just shows that how engaged he was. They posted a video of him cheering when LFC scored, and also of him getting soaked with water at the end when he was celebrating with the 32-52. It's insane how far this league has gone. And to another point, I think John Thornton said that something along the lines that they didn't choose LAFC for the money, because obviously other leagues, other teams had the money, and I think they're coming here to buying what the MLS, what LAFC have, and to be able to benefit off of that in any way and add to the game. So yeah, I think it's a very monumental signing, both of these signings for LAFC, and then just another stepping stone to where potentially this club will go to. Moving on, let's talk about obviously Chicho, because there's been a few things out there that Chicho is being shot. Not necessarily doesn't mean that he will leave LAFC, but it's been reported out there that Chicho could be on the move. What are your thoughts on Chicho as a player, and what are your thoughts on him if he potentially moves on to another team because of the pieces? They may be bringing a third DP as a striker, as I think what Michele said.
I think it will be a very unfair circumstance from Chicho. Let's remember that he came last year around August, and he made like 8-9 goals last season. In the worst moment of LAFC history, which was last season, he was a player that was responding. And right now he made 4 goals consecutively. He also scored on the US Open Cup. In this very enthusiastic atmosphere that surrounds LAFC right now, Chicho seems to be the victim of it, because bringing a striker. This will sound surprising, but I don't think any LAFC needs a striker per se. Chicho is good, and I don't think it will be fair for him to compete with a DP striker because he has done the job so far. It hasn't not even been a year, and Chicho has proven so. Actually, now that I think about it, in 2 out of 2 games against LA Galaxy that Chicho has been involved, he has scored twice. So in this very important match, he has proved like the quality that he has. So hopefully he stays, because he's have responded in crisis and in good moments like right now.
Yeah, I mean it'd be tough. I think if they do bring up a striker and they use that third DP on a striker, it would have to be such a big name that you either move on for him or you bench him, obviously. But to me, yeah, I've liked Chicho's game from the beginning. And you mentioned when LAFC were at their worst last season, he was that bright spot for them and for this club. Obviously sometimes they're business decisions, but I think there's just so many things that has been going right for LAFC, and one of those things has been Chicho Rang, which is on his on-field play, just his charisma as a player, just from what we've seen, and obviously he's definitely a fan favorite. So I think Chicho potentially being moved on to another team, I think, or something like that would be tough. And I just don't think LAFC need a third need a striker for their DP, because to me Chicho's a starter for me. I don't know. I know Brian Rodriguez and Bale and all those things. Look, but to me, goals are so hard to come by, and you have a player that's been scoring goals and been consistent and loves the team and loves all that. So we'll have to see. But I find it so hard that LAFC will move on for him or even potentially sign a striker, unless it's like someone that you must sign or some big name. But even then, like, I don't think they need a striker. They need they could use that in the midfield. Or I think here Chris in the chat said he says our third DP should be an attacking midfield, not a forward. I would agree. I would have to agree with that, because there's so much. And they're not missing a DP, and they're missing a number 9, and they even have a couple backup number 9s too. But look, I guess if a world-class player, it opens up for them, and you got to look at it. But I don't know. I just think Chicho has done so much for this club in this short time that it would be hard to move on from him in just a short time.
If he happens if he happens to leave, hopefully is Chicho gets an offer from Europe, or like it can be a step further for his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would hope it would be a stepping stone. I know a lot of people are saying potentially he may move to another MLS club. That's all speculation. So don't want to get too far down the road unless something like that starts to happen. But I think Chicho is definitely a player that like you said, he's impacted this game with scoring goals, and he could definitely impact this game come on Friday, because there's just so much going on in so many different ways. With the LAFC signing, the Galaxy just got some momentum by winning uh, big game yesterday. So there's just so many different things. Um, let's talk a little bit more about this rivalry. Let's talk a little bit more on this midfield. Obviously, you have Elias Sanchez, you have Latif Blessing, you have Kellen Acosta, you have Jose Cifuentes. Who are you liking in this midfield for this game on Friday?
Ilya Sanchez for sure. That's a must. Jose Cifuentes has had a couple of good assists. That will be a must. My doubt will be the third midfielder, the third attacking midfielder, which is, yeah, I agree. It will be a good place to spend your money on the third DP. I'm not sure between Kelly Acosta or Blessing. I will say with Acosta because I prefer Latif Blessing coming as a substitute, because tireless with his velocity and his dynamic, he makes a difference most of the times. Latif, you can say whatever you want. Good game, bad game, the desire is always there, but I prefer him as a substitute. So yeah, my midfield will be Ilya for sure, Sifu, and Kelly Acosta. Well, he hasn't been very consistent either, but that's where the doubt is on LAFC, on the third midfield attacker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they do bring in another midfielder, you would expect it to be an attacking end. So yeah, even though you have Kellen Acosta, but there's a lot of depth right there too. Let's say for whatever reason, let's say Bale is available to play. Obviously, you don't expect him. We don't expect him to start, but I don't know. The team hasn't made an announcement that Bale is here or anything like that. But who would you like to, once Bell is up to form and everything, who would you like, Bell and Carlos Vela, who would you like to be that third player up top with them? Because you're going to have to assume there's going to be three up top unless Geronimo switches a formation or something like that. But as of right now, who would be that third person for you?
For me, the third attacker will be Cristian Arango for sure. I don't have any doubts on that. He has proven that he can score goals. The attack has multiple changes. Bella has been injured. Brian Rodriguez has not been a solid starter. You have Mahala, Danny Mosovsky. You have your U.S. Open Cup games, but the starting 11 changes a lot. And in all those circumstances, Cristian Arango has proved to be a solid striker by scoring a lot of goals. So if he can do that with these players, what can he do with Carlos Vela? Renew with a new contract, and it seems with a new attitude, and Gareth Bale, who is a world-class player. Hopefully the injuries don't come a lot, because he's a player that tends to injure himself a lot. Well, not himself, like injured by other players. But yeah, it will be Cristian Arango for me for sure, because he has proven to be a good fit regardless of who's around him.
Yeah, I would have to agree, and I just think there's just so much. I think Chicho would be the beneficiary of Bell and Vela on the wings. I think that just the game would be opened up. And you mentioned another thing too, Bell. He's had some injuries, so I think him being on a TAM deal kind of in a way protects LAFC. If for whatever reason everything doesn't go according to plan. But I highly doubt that's going to be the case. For Gareth Bale and LAFC, I expect Gareth Bale to tear it up while being out here with the black and gold. Let's talk about the name El Trafico, because I see people in the chat say I like to. One Daniel Angel in the chat says he's like, I like to call it the Battle of the 110. What are your thoughts? I know there's the Clásico Angelino. Or what are your thoughts on El Trafico name, or should we change it? What's going on in your mind?
I know a lot of people have a problem with the name El Trafico, but I don't dislike it. Maybe because Spanish is my first and only language, as you can see. But no, I don't dislike it. But it's an interesting name. It's a name that brings attention right away, like El Tráfico. It's something really different. So yeah, I don't despise the game at all. And most importantly, this rivalry has room to deliver anytime when these two teams step on the field.
Yeah, LA Derby. Yeah, people in the chat, comment what name do you guys like? If you like El Trafico, comment El Trafico. For whatever reason, if you're on Twitter, Twitter does not show up here on the main page. It's only Facebook or YouTube for whatever reason. But yeah, comment if you like, or whatever name you like. If it's LA Derby, you just mentioned, you said the Battle of the 110, El Trafico, or whatever. Because to me, I think El Trafico is gonna stick. It's just sticking because it's been there. It's just been there since the beginning. And I think I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard to change the name.
Well, we can have a derby with multiple names. That's something that you don't see very often. That can be part of the uniqueness of this rivalry. Why not?
Yeah, Alex says it's unique. It's LA. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that to me is like kind of like the biggest thing. You mentioned about Vela. Let's talk about Vela renewing his contract for another year. What were your thoughts on that? I think to me it was kind of like a no-brainer once Bale was announced. But what are your thoughts for him coming back a whole nother year with LAFC?
It was a no-brainer, in fact, but I think it was a relief for all the LAFC fans, front office, even his teammates. It wouldn't be no way that Bela will leave LAFC. It will be a big mistake. So it's good to have him renew, and you can see right away that he has recognized that he's more focused. He plays more concentrated because he doesn't have that situation on his head. So yeah, the most benefit one will be the team as a whole. Everyone will be a benefit, and let's see what he can do this Friday.
Yeah, and to me, I thought it was gonna be difficult to see Carlos Vela leave midway through the season. I found that difficult to believe or anything like that, because especially them being still at the time, number one in the league and all that. So I think especially with all these different signings. Let's talk about this also. Obviously, LAFC has made splashes with these signings. I know you're a player. You're a guy that's watched that Liga MX growing up. I watched it growing up. But with everything that LAFC, the MLS is doing, what are your thoughts on the league so far, and then thoughts on what LAFC has been able to accomplish in just a short time?
That the eyes of the world will be on Major League Soccer, and Liga MX needs to stop underestimating Major League Soccer. Like Liga MX has not have David Beckham. Liga MX has not have Steven Gerrard or Andrea Pirlo. Maybe these two players didn't come on their best moment. They have other big names like Ronaldinho. Right now they have Gignac, but it happens once in a while. And in Major League Soccer, it happens often. And the best thing about it is that these players, well, the exception of Chiellini, are not coming in the last part of their career. They are coming in a good time. Like Toronto right now has a Napoli player, Lorenzo Insigne, for instance, and that's really really good for the league, because the eyes of the world will be on them. And I spoke about that with Chicho Arango the other day on the press conference. He, like many Colombian players, don't have the benefit of the doubt to try in the Colombian national team. But now that these big signings are coming once again, many people will be watching Major League Soccer. So that's good for the league, and they know how to deliver a good show, on the field and out the field.
Yeah, I know you bring up a good point, and that just reminds me, Gareth Bale decided to join LAFC in a World Cup year, so you're definitely expecting him to come kill it, because this is like the first time the Wales have made it to the World Cup in, like, I forgot how many decades and everything like that. And it's just a big thing. So he's gonna want to get ready for the World Cup. He's gonna want to play as many games as he can with LAFC. And also another thing too is one of his teammates, Kellen Acosta, is going to be he's going to be his teammate all the way up to once the World Cup, because I think what the U.S. and Wales, either that's the first game or one of the first games that they play against each other. So yeah, it's interesting now that you're having these type of players um, choose MLS in World Cup years. If Italy would have made it, potentially had Chiellini and Lorenzo Insigne too, but like you're having these players come to MLS, and there's a big shift to me. I just feel it. I think these signings, the Bell signing is just another stepping stone for either another MLS club or LAFC to continue getting these big name stars to come over here.
Yeah, the level of life, the level of life in the United States. They something that I have seen is that in the U.S. they are not the main focus. There is baseball, basketball, football first, and soccer players don't get that attention, so they have like a more calmer life. They can be around and
Yeah, it can be
perhaps
more
not be,
private. Yeah.
yeah, more privacy for them. So that's a good reason why they decide to come here than in Liga MX, because in Mexico, despite the disappointments every 4 years, soccer and boxing, it's everything. So yeah, that's maybe one of the reasons why they decide to come here to the United States to play.
Yeah, no, yeah. You bring up a good point on that. Yeah. Look, I'm to be honest, I'm excited to see both Chiellini and Gareth Bale whenever it is. I don't think it's going to be this Friday, but whenever it is, to see LAFC in full force. Carlos Vela, if it is Chicho or if it is another player, because you got to imagine it's MLS Cup or bust for LAFC. With these signings, and especially where they're
It
at.
is.
It's that's where they're at. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's easier with these signings, or you add more pressure, or it's a little bit of both. Because and they're in a good spot. I think the assumption is LAFC with these signings could only get better. You don't expect them for no reason to get worse, right? You expect them
Not
to
at all.
continue to get better and better, and then we'll just have to see where's the ceiling for this team, because right now it's the sky's the limit. We put it that way. Let's talk about let's get your predictions for this game. What are your predictions, people in the chat? What are your predictions for Friday's game?
Well, not 0-0 for sure, because it's something that
I know
something that it has never happened.
I don't want it to
and
happen.
and these teams are known for scoring. LAFC has been doing pretty good defensively. I don't remember like LAFC receiving 3 or 4 goals this season. Maybe someone can correct me on the chat. Guys can Google it. So taking that in consideration, I see a 3-1 victory for LAFC.
People in the chat commenting.
It's gonna happen finally.
3-1 would be massive, and it's not far,
Mm-hmm.
and it's definitely achievable for LAFC to accomplish that. Yeah, I think for them they got to get this one way or another, because LAFC has already lost 2 to the Galaxy. You got to at least get the one at home. So yeah, I think with that said, Jose, I think that's it, man. How excited are you for Friday's game?
I'm very excited. Like I'm telling you, if you're not a soccer fan, watch this game. If you want to get your friend to like Major League Soccer, if you're a Major League Soccer ambassador, make someone watch this game. This is a game to watch because it's gonna deliver on the field, but also what happens in the stands is really worth it. Even if you see it live or if you see it from the comfort of your house, like this game has everything. It's a spectacle on and off the field. So yeah, I'm looking forward for this game. It's gonna be the 16th in history. This rivalry is a one that since day one grew up being a big rivalry. I still remember that Zlatan big day back in 2018 when he scored 3 goals. Very memorable one from half the midfield. So this is the game to watch if you're an LAFC fan, if you're an LA Galaxy fan, if you are an MLS supporter, if you're an MLS doubter. This is the game that you want to see because it's gonna be really worth it. You're gonna have a good time, and it's gonna be your Friday night, so it's a very good game, good way to start your weekend.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't want to miss this game. You brought up a great point. Yeah, if someone who hasn't watched the MLS or soccer, this is one way to definitely get them into it. And for those people that are going to be able to attend the game, man, you're definitely, hopefully, you're in for a treat. A couple goals. I'm expecting a lot of goals, a lot of excitement, a lot of cheers, because for the most part, this game never disappoints when it comes to all of that. So I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank Josue. That's going to wrap things up, guys. Enjoy it. Be safe out there. And if you go to the game, try to find me. I'm going to be out there. So we'll catch you guys next time. Bye, guys. Take it easy.
Take care.